Hello again, everybody. Dave Thompson, Coast Information Services Department. Today we are going to go over how to use the Apporto virtualization program currently in pilot at Coast. So to begin, we will bring up a browser. Any browser should do. I will be using Chrome for this demonstration. And we will go to infoservices.cccd.edu. infoservices.cccd.edu. And this will bring you to the Coast Information Services help page. On the right over here, under these four different topics, we have VDI, AppStream, and Apporto. We will click on this area here, which will bring us to our virtualization page, where we have access to our VDI system, the AppStream pilot, and what we are looking for in this demonstration, the Apporto pilot. We will click Log into Apporto for all applications. After clicking on the Apporto pilot link, you may or may not be presented with the Coast College's single sign-on page. Depends on how long it's been since you've last logged into a Coast application. If you do, please put in your username and your password, and after a successful login, you'll be redirected to the Apporto page. That will bring us to the Apporto catalog page. And for today's demonstration, we will use the Windows Desktop, and we will launch Windows Desktop. Launching the Apporto Desktop may take a minute or so, so we will see how long this takes. Very quick today. This may take up to a minute, so please be patient. If there's nobody been using the system, we shut them down and bring them back up when somebody requests it. So it may take a little bit longer than you have seen just right there. Once inside the Apporto desktop, you will see all the applications that we are currently offering in our pilot. We have a folder with ArcGIS in it. We have FrameCAD Structure and a few different of the SolidWorks programs. Visual Studio is also available in the Apporto pilot. So to begin, we'll cover these items up at the top bar here. These are very important to understand, so we'll start with this first icon here. This first icon is toggle full screen. Right now, the Apporto virtualized desktop is running inside of my browser. I can still see my browser tabs and the URL bar up here, but if I wanted to, I could select this first icon and it will toggle full screen. And gets rid of all of that browser tabs and windows, and really gives me a very clean desktop. To exit out of the full screen, I can either bring my mouse back up to the top and click the same icon I clicked before to bring it back, untoggle full screen, or I can just hit escape from an empty desktop, and that will also bring me back to that desktop in the browser mode. The second icon on the top is File Upload. If we click File Upload, and this may take a while for this window to appear. Sometimes the first time you do it, it takes quite a while for your PC window to kind of show up. I do this fairly often, so mine seems to come up faster the more I do it. Be patient, but this will allow me to upload files into the Apporto instance so that I can use them and manipulate them in the programs that I want to use. For this demonstration, I will go ahead and select a file and say open, and what it does is it will upload that file and put it onto the desktop. I get a notification down here that it's been uploaded, and I can see it just puts it right on the desktop. Apporto really likes to use the desktop more than a Windows file structure that your local computer does, so it's preferable and advisable that you kind of do the same. What I typically like to do with my files is I will create a new folder right here on the desktop. And I could call this Dave's Files. You can call this folder whatever you like. And then I just move those files into that folder. I like to kind of keep my desktop nice and clean, so I'll move that one over here. And now it's inside of my Dave's Files folder. This folder that you create and the files that you upload will be persistent throughout your use of Apporto. You can log out and log back in at a different time, different day, and those files will still be here. Like with other pilots that we are currently running at Coast, I do recommend that you always download an important file before you're done with your session. Being pilots and being cloud-based, we're still hesitant to say that those files will always be there for you. So I want to make sure that you kind of hear that warning. And if you've spent a lot of time working on a file, it's very important. You don't want to lose it. As much as we trust these cloud-based programs, I would still recommend downloading those files. Which brings us to our third icon, the download icon here. Again, we can click on the download icon. It will ask us what file do we want to download. It will show us the different folders that we have on our desktop. And here is the Dave's Files folder that I just created over there. If I click into that folder, I can see the file that I uploaded and moved to that folder. And I can download this and bring it back down to my local machine. Again, probably very advisable for important files or files that you spent a lot of time working on. The fourth icon is Save and Restore Snapshot. You can run a program in Apporto and snapshot it and kind of go back to that instance in time of that snapshot. It's probably useful in some occasions, but I think for our pilot it will probably not get too much use. But it is an option that if you wanted to kind of save the state of where you're at and come back to it, you could save and restore that snapshot. The fifth icon on the top of Apporto's toolbar is Share Screen. Apporto does have the ability to allow you to share your screen with your instructor. If your instructor contacts you and says, hey, I'd like to kind of help you with a project, I'd like to show you what I might do, this is a good way to do it. You can share your screen with the instructor if you are both online and both using Apporto at the same time. And that instructor can watch your movements and even request to control the screen. So the fifth icon, Share Screen, is just a way for you to allow the instructor to monitor and assist. Analytics. Analytics will show you how much time you have been using Apporto. If you have a requirement from your instructor to put in so many hours into the program, this is where we can see how much time you have spent in the program. Your instructor can monitor the analytics and see what are the average of the class and how much time you've put into the program as well. The next icon is sound on and off, and that's pretty self-explanatory. If I did not want to have sound, I could turn off the sound for Apporto, turn it back on with this icon here. Over to the right-hand side, we kind of see a network quality meter, and it tells us how the network is running. Because Apporto is virtualized, it's all network and cloud-based, it's handy to see how much latency you may have and how much bandwidth you are using for your connection. This may help us kind of determine if you've got appropriate internet access, if that may be a problem. If the quality of the service goes down, we can kind of ask you what that network quality is, and this icon over here will tell you what that is. Time is how much time you have spent in the current instance, the current usage of Apporto. I've been online 7 minutes since we began this video. And activity kind of shows you again, analytics, the activity that you have done as a user. The last icon across the top is the settings icon, and this will allow you to enable the microphone and also if the clipboard is enabled. Enabling the microphone may be handy if the instructor wanted to work with you. You can kind of have a conversation, I believe, through Apporto, but really it's more for programs like Zoom or WebEx if you were to do a web meeting, which we do not actually have those applications in this instance, so I don't think the enable microphone will be something that our users are going to be using. Clipboard enabled allows you to do cut and paste, copy and paste from your local machine to the Apporto instance. So if you had some text in a file you wanted to copy on over or an image you wanted to copy on over, you can do that using the clipboard as long as it is enabled. To start a program, we will load ArcGIS. ArcGIS has a couple of different programs in this instance, so we've put them in the folder called ArcGIS. Today we'll load up ArcGIS Map, just as a demonstration. And once ArcGIS Map is open, we had previously uploaded the file and we put it onto our folder inside of the desktop. If we wanted to open that file, we could simply click on the Open option for ArcGIS. we would go to this PC, I'm sorry, desktop is quicker, or this PC or desktop. We just need to get to the desktop one of the ways. And then we will look for that folder that we created and called Dave's Files. Inside of Dave's Files is the file that I uploaded from my local machine and placed into there. So we'll open that file. And that file is loaded. Stupid file. Okay, now that we have covered the items across the top bar, what we will do is we will load a file. I'll be using ArcGIS, so I'm going to move to my ArcGIS folder, and I will load up ArcMap for the purpose of this demonstration. Now the Apporto instance works very much like a regular desktop. If I was to minimize this application, I would still have it down here at my taskbar. I can bring that application back up at any time. So it is very much like a regular desktop, especially when we go into the full screen mode. It acts very much like your local desktop would. To load a file into ArcMap, we had previously uploaded some files using the second icon, the Upload Files icon. We put those into a folder called Dave's Files on the desktop. We will click on Open Files, and we will go to Desktop, Dave's Files. And once inside of the Dave's Files folder, I can see a couple of the files that we had uploaded using the second icon of Upload Files. And I'll select one of those files and open. And here's the file opened up in ArcGIS, ready for us to use. Saving a file works very much like it would on your local machine as well. You would come up and you would say, I'd like to save the file. And we'll save a copy just for the purpose, and I will say that this is the BGS file copy and save. This is also going to, again, go back into that folder that I created off of my desktop. And then when we're done using the program, we can simply close the program. Back to our Apporto desktop. And inside of Dave's Files, you'll now see that I also have this copy file that was just created in ArcMap. If I wanted to download that file, I could again come up to this download icon, third icon from the top. It will allow me to do file download. I can go into Dave's Files, and unfortunately it doesn't really show the whole file name. Its file download window kind of truncates things, but if you hover over the items, you can really get the full file name. So I can see here, this is my copy that I just created and saved, and I can download that to my local machine, and it comes down and puts it into my downloads folder on my local computer. I would really recommend that you download any important files when you're done for the day, done working on your session or with your class, just so that you have them back on your local computer in case something happens and the next time you log into Apporto they're not there. at least you've brought it back in locally and you can re-upload it and continue to work. Once we've finished our work, once we've downloaded our files, at this point we can leave Apporto. We are done with this session. And we log out of a session in Apporto very similar in the fashion that we do on our local machine. We can come to the Start button, and we can either click on the Power button and say Disconnect, or we can come up to the User button and sign out. Either one of those will perform the same function in Apporto, which is signing you out from the session and bringing you back to the Apporto home screen. So when we're done, we get the message disconnected. We can immediately reconnect if we want to, or at this point we can close our browser window. We can actually close our entire browser if we are done working for the day, and we are back at our local computer. So that is the demonstration, quick demonstration of how to use, access Apporto for the pilot at Coast Colleges. I thank you for your time. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the IT Service Desk. You can reach them also at infoservices.cccd.edu. Thank you. Have a great day.